To Sir Ryan Digan, good day sir. So for this video, our topic is probably related to communication and how this communication changes into a competence that people, especially on students, use in real life context. I, April Joy Bicabanya from BSEd English 2A, will discuss on what is communicative competence and its four components. Now, let's begin.
It's my life.
Communicative competence has its four components we have to consider. First, the grammatical competence. Second is the sociolinguistic competence. Third is the discourse competence. And last one is the strategic competence. So the first thing we have to consider is to ask you, what is communicative competence? So when you hear the word communicative competence, what comes first in your mind? Communicative competence refers, or it means it is the ability or the general ability to communicate accurately and effectively in different contexts using cohesion and coherence. Now, let's talk about the four components of the communicative competence. Let's begin first on the grammatical competence. So what is grammatical competence and why do we need to study or why do we need to know the grammatical competence? Now, grammatical competence is the knowledge of grammar, lexis, phonology, morphology, syntax, and semantics. It is also the ability to produce or recognize well-formed phrases and sentences. Now, here is an example to further understand the essence of grammatical competence. Grammatical competence is the way we build the sentence and the way we communicate to the person or the person we're talking properly. And now let us take a look to our example. The first sentence, I dance gooder than you. Now, do you think that this sentence is grammatical? Of course, no. The word gooder has nothing to do in English. It doesn't exist in the world or word English. Now, I actually, in my existence, I don't know someone using the word gooder. So therefore, the whole sentence, the sentence I dance gooder than you is ungrammatical. And now let us take a look to our second example, the sentence I dance better than you do. Do you think that this sentence is grammatical? Of course, yes. This sentence looks perfectly and absolutely makes sense to the person you are talking with. And so that's what we mean by grammatical competence. If you are competitive, if you know in yourself that the sentence you are uttering is correct or grammatical. Now let's move on to the second component of the communicative competence, the sociolinguistic competence. So what is sociolinguistic competence? Sociolinguistic competence is defined as the study of how the people around you and your heritage can change the way you speak. Also, sociolinguistic requires two important things: the society or the person you gotta talk. Second is the means or tools used to talk to a person. Also, sociolinguistic comes from two words. The socio refers from the society. Second, linguistic, it is the knowledge about language. For example, in the context we have on the picture, we have a customer and a front desk officer who's trying to have a communication. And now, the foreigner don't know yet the services and offerings the hotel has. And now the role of the front desk officer will accommodate the customer using the language of the foreigner. And in that situation, there is sociolinguistic competence happening on that instance. Now let's move on to the third component of communicative competence, which is the discourse competence. Now, what is discourse competence and why do we need discourse competence? Now, discourse competence is the ability to connect the sentence correctly. Now, there are two main aspects of discourse competence. The cohesion, which focuses on the form of the sentence, And the second one is coherence, which focuses on the meaning. For example, when you are asked to make an essay asking, why do you like English? Now, this is a big question, and in order to answer this, you have to come up to an idea or create a topic sentence. This topic sentence will highlight your salient point on answering the given question. You can also come up to have a 1 or 2 paragraph of supporting ideas that will support the topic sentence and a conclusion. Now, if you put this ideas together, you can come up to something that makes sense, that will go beyond or that completes the task given, which is to make or answer the question, why do you like English? Now, if there is no cohesion, you gotta find scramble of ideas or paragraphs, which means they say you are making don't actually make sense. Same situation on arranging a Rubik's Cube or solving a Rubik's Cube. You really have to respect the process on how to solve it in order to arrange the Rubik's Cube back to its form. Now, if you don't know or you don't have background knowledge on arranging a Rubik's Cube, then expect that you'll really not gonna arrange or solve it. And now let's move on to the last component of communicative competence, the strategic competence. Now, what is strategic competence? Now, strategic competence is the ability to overcome difficulties when communication breakdown occurs. For example, you are on a job interview and you tend to forget or don't know the word to say next. Now, this is where the strategic competence will take place. When you happen to forget a word, we can use the circumlocution strategy. Circumlocution means you gotta use a group of words used to explain the word that you forgot. Alright, for example, when we happen to forget the word kitchen, we can use that this is where we cook and prepare our food. Another one, when we forget the word bag, instead of stopping the communication, we can say that this is where we put our things when we go to school. So that is circumlocution, and that strategic competence takes place in that situation. To conclude and sum up everything in this discussion, I think that all these elements are really important in teaching communicative competence, and applying those elements could really a great help on teaching and learning process of both teachers and learners. That would be all for this video. I hope that you have learned something from this discussion. Thank you for watching, and God bless us all.